to show in specific situations. And right now we have 4 elements. I want to give it a go. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. I think we are in a good state. I will also add, after you implement the component, I want you to showcase it on the TSX, let's say main page.
So I actually copied most of your prompt and I submitted it before you had that last bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how they compare.
I think, let's see who is going to have it faster. Which model are you using? Are you using Opus? Okay. This could be a nice option. I think you were muted. You're using Auto.
Yeah, I tend to use Auto by default, right? The only time I'll switch to Opus is if I've trying to do something that's really complicated. I find that the Auto actually tends to be a really good default for most of the things I'm doing. If I'm Kiro credit conscious, you'll see at the bottom of Sally's screen there, Kiro Power. Kiro, you've got lots of credits available, right? But you may have less than that, okay? Especially if you're using or just signed up for it or using the free tier, you'll have a lot of it. So making sure that you use the right model that's optimized and frugal for the activities you're doing is super important.
Yeah, so for me, everything is hard. So I just go with Opus because of that. Like I really, if I'm being honest, I just go with Opus with de facto. But if I look at this model selection that comes with the Pro, I think like Sonnet 4.5 would do a great job as well. Like I know there are many people out there, there are many developers out there has been and still using Sonnet 4.5 as well.
God, this passing the spoon, the audio spoon is quite instilling a discipline. In the second episode, you showed your steering file, okay, that had some good practices. For doing this, okay, where we're creating the hexagons tiles or the components, okay, for React, would you recommend, or is it a good idea to maybe put some specific steering documents in here, or do you not need to do those at the moment?
Normally, I don't know if right now I don't have any steering file that I can add, but I can think of adding some best practices or rules that we can have with it. For this purpose, I could have also told, like, when you do this, use the React best practices. I could follow the React best practices, Kiro Power that we have mentioned in the previous episodes as well. And by the way, the implementation is done. Let's see what it did and let's see how it looks like. Yeah. I saw really quickly.
So mine is still going, right? It actually generated an error whilst it was building, but it's found the error. It's trying to fix it. It's going again for another build. But yeah, so it's actually now done the Git commit as well. So I think I'm close behind.
That thing, the error building, it's coming from steering files. I tell for React projects, do an npm run build so we can prevent any compile time errors before it's happening. All right, so let's see how this looks like. New window. Let's go. All right. Oh, come on. That's pretty good. Come on. It already built the even the chord system. It's a nice one. Like we have easy, medium, hard with images and so on, and nice. I think it's nice. Yeah. Every episode we have fun, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it is. It's a good start, right? It's a good start. Now, obviously, if we're being hypercritical, the hexagons aren't aligned, so they look a bit odd, right? But as a good starting point, I think it's now interestingly. So when I first tried vibe coding this about, I don't know, 2 months ago, I got exactly the same kind of initial output from a vibe coding session. And what I found was really interesting, okay, is you already showed how to upload an image as part of the prompt. So what I found is that through the text, I could say, this is a good first start. Can you look at the alignment of the hexagons? Because they're not quite right. And I tried that and it didn't work great, right? It wasn't until I annotated the image and explained through annotating the image, that's when I got it to actually do a much better job.
Yeah, that is what I was going to say. Like for this kind of applications, here's what I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But like, here is the problem with AI. AI tries to read your like images, your screen pixel by pixel. It doesn't have the visual understanding of the people, of course, normally. So from your perspective, things can look crooked, but actually from its perspective, they are where they should be, because just imagine you have 1.19201080 pixels, like multiplied by pixels in a screen, and you are saying that like this part that I don't know where the address is looks weird to me. And from AI, it says, no, like I want it to be that way. From its perspective, it is okay. So that this is a part that you have to know what you're talking about. This is the part your intuition to jump in and say, hey, here's how you do. Makes more sense.
So mine is still running. I still have, yours was quite quick, right? But mine is, so it's actually finished writing the code. Now it's actually just doing the git commits, right? And it's asking me every single time. So if I do npm run dev, in theory, let's have a look. Obviously, if it works, I'll share my screen. If it doesn't, actually, even if it doesn't, I'll share my screen. But I just want to see what it kind of looks like. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now, just so people can see the difference, right? How do I share my screen again? I need to stop screen. Okay, stop sharing screen. Share screen.
I can mute you. Okay, so in the meantime, if I want to talk, I can, hey, I just make it cool. Like for me, make it cool.
Run it by and the tab for the game. Where is it? Live stream quest. Is it actually it's this one here? Yeah. So this is what I've got. So we can, if you can add it onto the screen. So you can see that it doesn't animate, it like hovers color wise, but it doesn't do the hover effect. It's like more, this is kind of like what you could do. And actually, I quite like this. Actually, it's from a design perspective, it's all right. Okay. It's not quite like what it doesn't have the hover effect, but it's giving me some with icon overlays, with disabled state, the grid pattern, which again is wrong. And the only thing that we've done differently, actually, my prompt was slightly different to yours. Okay. I didn't go to the detail of yours. And I forgot to do that last bit about show it in action, but it has actually shown it in action. And the only difference we've done really is a slightly different prompt and auto versus opus. So let's have a look how many credits. So I used 3.4 credits. So not that much different actually. So actually, you know what? The question is whether what is better, yours or mine, right? So this is it. Question. I don't know what is better, but yeah, something to think about there, right? So let's carry on.
All right, so here is, okay. I found a solution to our problem. If you mute me now, you can unmute me later.
Right, so we figured out something else. I can now keep Sally quiet if I want to. But Sally, I'm going to pass it back to you so you can figure out what we're going to do.
Awesome. So this way, whenever you want to jump in, just jump in, and I can just know my place. So here's what I want to do next. I think I told you, I'm a big fan of board games, and Settlers of Catan is one of my favorite games that I played, and they have hexagon tiles in the game as well. And those hexagon tiles come together to make a big hexagon. I will do something crazy. I will just tell AI that I want you to create a board view looking at Settlers of Catan. And I'm not going to tell it to fix the alignment problem that we have over here. Like we already talked about this, but I'm not going to say, I will hope that by doing the Settlers of Catan, it will actually make directly.
So just for people, I don't know what that game is, right? But for those people who do board games or from the past, my early days of RPG games on the Commodore 64, they were basically interlocking hexagonal, which allow you as a player to know how to navigate a board. And typically it's one place you can move, sometimes more, depending on the game.
All right. So right now, what we have here is, from my perspective, it will just have a board. And I want to have a board logic because right now I have the component in place, and for the game, I have the hexagon tile. Or the UI, I have a different one. The reason is we're using ShotCN. ShotCN was the UI library that we decided to use for normal operations like buttons and so on to make our lives easier. And now what we will do is we will say, create a board view like the Settlers of Catan. By the way, the creator of the game is German, and it was really fun to learn because a friend of mine actually worked on a mobile app of it. Anyway, super unnecessary information for everyone, but I love that game that much. with these hexagon tiles. However, we will do it with a twist. I want you to create a path and create a logic of path moving left hand side to the right hand side to start and finish a series questions. I didn't create 1, 2, 3. I didn't create anything. I just want to keep it very basic. It's not perfect, but I'm really curious about the end result of it. Put this gaming board and gaming logic to the main page. All right, let's see what happens.
Okay, so I haven't typed that in. So at this point now, I'm not going to carry on. I'm going to get your prompt afterwards, Sally, okay? And then see what I get. So we'll just do it just because I should have been typing along there, but I didn't. So apologies.
I'm really curious how it will look like on your end, though. Let's see if this looks nice. Let's do that over there as well and see how one prompt can change different things.
So maybe you can copy and paste that prompt of yours in the Slack channel and I'll see it. And actually, whilst you're doing that, okay, I do have a question. And I guess I think I know what the answer is. And that's because we've created components that on your side, that the hexagon design, because whilst it's okay, it's not really how I envisaged it. But that's not important, right? Because we can change that at any time. The kind of the look and feel of the hexagon is separate from the actual logic, right? So this is one of the reasons why you use components for that reason, right? Is that right?
Absolutely. Also, as I said, I want this to be as generic as possible because maybe we will like the design and everything, and maybe we are short on time. And for the initial version of it, we can make a button out of it and we can multi-purpose it. Like when I think of UI elements, UI components, I never think of pages. I never think of a project. I think of pieces that I can use. Though, like even some projects of mine back in the days, we even had the logics that can be coupled into the UI components as well. So people can pull it off like in the design system library that we use with Shutdown and so on. So they can save a lot of time as well. We are done. Let's see what we can show. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is not Catan looks like. Let me show what Settlers of Catan.
I tell you what, it might not be perfect, but it's a lot better than the previous one. So actually the fact that you gave it a cue to understand a board game that it might already know in the training data, right? I think that's a very good idea because I think this, or just using that prompt, in the times I've vibe coded this before, this has definitely been the best way of doing it. So sometimes trying to lean on something that it might, or the training data of the LM already knows is a solid move. So that's a good tip, that.
One thing that I wanted to imagine this kind of thing. This is the extension board, but overall this is what it looks like. But here's the crazy part, like that I really love. You see, I said make a hexagon, but with the hexagon, it actually means the framing as well. It didn't care for framing. It actually used the internal inside of it. For me, it's like, it's smart. I like that. But I'm really curious how the gaming would be like. So we have the start and finish. So I click, says, oh, what is the correct answer? Sample question. What is 2 plus 2? When you say correct answer, we have 3 now like this. There are, of course, many things to do. For example, when I'm done, I want the other parts that I didn't select to be faded as well. But let's continue and see what happens. Here is also something that is really nice. By the way, oh, okay. Oh, no, we are not showing the screen. Oh my God. You missed the game, folks. Let me go back and act like it is the first time. So share screen. By the way, for this week, we are having problem with LinkedIn live stream. Apologies for that one. We will share the live stream later on. The StreamYard says it's from LinkedIn side, but we will share the live stream on that we have from YouTube later on LinkedIn as well. Anyway, this is the part that the game has generated, and you can select one thing that I want to showcase is it also created some sample paths that you can follow along. And for each possible path, now you have the answers and you can just carry on. There are many work that we are going to be doing to make this better. As I said earlier on, like the previous ones that I didn't select should be faded out as well. But overall, I think we're in a good path. Like it's moving forward. Yeah. And I don't know what you think. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think it's really good. But my attempt also looks like it's produced something pretty interesting. So I'm going to share my screen just so that I stop your screen and add my screen, share screen, share live. And this is what it's created for me. It's not too bad. You can see that although it kind of like, you've got these kind of like hidden dotted lines, right? And I click on one, it then says incorrect answer. So it hasn't actually given me, but it's mimicking the game, right? Incorrect answer, try again. So it's actually mimicking correct answers and going from there. But it's actually, I gotta say, I think so far, look at that, I've won. I know, I've won. Nope, I thought I'd won. I thought then, obviously he makes that last one. There we go. Congratulations, you've completed the quest. So actually,
Can you share because we don't see the
reaction. Oh, we don't see the reaction of the game. Okay, so let's see if I can change that to, let's do stop, remove, stop screen, share entire screen. And just go straight for that. So here we go. So let's refresh this page. So this is the hexagon quest using auto model, right? So the frugal model, but here we got basically, it gives you some sample times when it actually generates an incorrect message, allowing you to navigate, which is, I think it's pretty cool. And now look at that. Congratulations, I've completed the quest. So question is this more complete than your game? I don't know, but I'm pleased with it.
I want to talk, okay? From my point of view, this is better. The reason that this is better is because this feels like a game. The parts that I see on the screen feels like a game element to me rather than website elements. And of course, like it's far from being complete and there are some parts that I liked, but the tiny touches that my side did is actually making some difference.